Minecraft version 1.21 came to break the curse of disappointing updates that had been haunting us lately. Along with camels, bees, and colored blocks, we received some fascinating new additions. This update doesn't include everything the community has envisioned for the game's future. Because of that, let's take a look at the 5 best update ideas that Minecraft needs. Number 1. End Update. First, it's good to make it clear that we have the End Dimension, which even went through an update. But it's been 7 years already. Even though the Elytra revolutionized the entire gameplay of the game, it kinda stopped there and we haven't had anything new since then. The end is still empty with teleport trees and a few hard to find in cities. The truth is, even though we've gotten used to the idea that the end is supposed to be empty, it's good to remember that both the Nether and the standard world itself have always received updates regularly. It's never too late for creative work or to add novelty, while keeping the dimension's essence. And actually, because it has such a well-defined and rooted image, it's even easier to come up with new biomes, structures, and mobs that fit this aesthetic dynamic. Like for example, adding different types of Endermen, some that teleport more frequently while others are bigger or slower, depending on the point of view. And if you stop to think about it, there's no shortage of ideas. Minecraft Dungeons itself came with a completely revamped idea of the end, with several new structures and even a new boss. For those unaware, rumor says Minecraft Dungeons, released in 2020, was in development for many years prior. This game has many ideas that could benefit the Java edition. It's also worth mentioning a range of opportunities that arise from the Ether, for example, or from the Ardent Dimension. These are popular ideas in the community, and many want them. As bold as they are, we can agree the Ender Dragon is outdated. It's not a hard boss, even compared to others. Within the game, there's no longer that magic when facing the final boss, considering that he's not really much of a boss anymore. Changing the final boss would finally add real innovation to the main storyline, as players have long requested in updates. Number 2. Nature. An update highlighting nature's aesthetics is also a good idea. Not that the world of Minecraft is ugly, but it has much more potential to be tapped into than it currently is. For example, you've probably noticed the concept of seasons in the game. Several simple mods change the map's atmosphere to winter, summer, autumn, and more. It doesn't have to be the same super heavy or too intense. It could be more subtle, which I think is much better than having biomes stay frozen or hot forever. Falling leaf particles from trees and piles of leaves on the ground are really cool ideas and wouldn't be hard to implement. Branches are another easy decorative element. I'm not sure if Mojang has considered this. It would be like a thinner log, useful for building cooler, more minimalist things. And visually, just imagine if when the player entered the water or put their rod in it, there was a splash, a simple splash animation, for example. When it rains, just like in real life. Similarly, we could add unique ambient sounds for each biome, like the eerie noises already heard in caves. Yeah, we all know that Minecraft is a great horror game when we're playing alone. Beaches also deserve attention, and a nature update could make these biomes more unique and defined. Adding crabs and palm trees previously discarded in mob votes would provide good context. This update could add several of these discarded elements to better highlight the biomes. And with that, let's also remember the baobabs and ostriches in the savannah. That would definitely renew the feeling of exploration in the game. And just a reminder that on the 19th, we'll be holding an event on Discord with a prize of 10,000 reais. Yes, that's a lot of money. And it's definitely going to be a lot of fun with games, contests, and secondary prizes like gift cards and picks. I posted a very detailed video about it. Be sure to check it out later and invite your friends. It's going to be legendary. Number 3. Snow. And since we're talking about aesthetic updates, it's time to focus on specific biomes, the ones that involve snow. I think we all have the idea that snow is very underdeveloped in Minecraft and could be much better utilized. First, since there are snow blocks and igloos, stairs, slabs, fences, and other items could also feature that texture. Besides that, still talking about snow, it's about time to put an end to this nonsense of completely removing the snow. It doesn't make sense that placing something like a fence or button, which is much smaller than a block, removes all surrounding snow. You can already see the green grass beneath. Another issue in snow biomes is too much green. It's about time everything took on a lighter and whiter tone, from the blocks to the leaves and even the flowers, just like we would imagine in a real biome covered in snow. Other vegetation, such as crops and tall grass, should also be textured white in some areas to match the aesthetic. Regarding aesthetics, a winter update with moldable snow bricks would be a dream for builders. Just imagine how many things would come up if we had slabs, stairs, fences, and ice doors, for example. Another possibility is that the mobs themselves could get a snow-covered texture when it's snowing, both hostile and friendly ones. If we're discussing a biome level update, I must mention adding new mobs. They could add penguins or walruses. Comment below, which do you prefer? If I had to pick, I'd go with more frames per second. So, forget all that and just make the game stop lagging on my Zusa laptop. Number 4. Desert. Since we've discussed reworking snowy biomes, let's move on to sand. An update to the desert could follow similar patterns to everything we've already discussed about winter, but in a different context. For example, snowstorm events could be replaced by sandstorms appearing out of nowhere and reducing the player's visibility. These storms could result in multiple layers of sand piling up, an addition that honestly makes no sense not to exist yet. If there are layers of snow on top of regular blocks, why couldn't there be layers of sand as well? Open your eyes, Mojang. My work card is empty and I'm doing your job. Maybe Microsoft will hire me. Reusing leftovers from mob votes would make players happy. A desert update could add palm trees and ostriches, which were mentioned in a previous video. Regarding new structures, it's pretty obvious we need cooler pyramids. Dungeons would definitely be a great opportunity for exploration. Consider this. Real pyramids are massive mazes filled with puzzles and riddles. The Minecraft pyramid is already quite old and outdated, maybe even older than some viewers. It's a real waste not to innovate that way. Number 5. Sex update. Wait, I read it wrong. Number 5. Inventory update. It's time to talk about one of the most necessary and honestly most overdue changes of all time. Do you know how many new items have appeared since Minecraft's official release? Yeah, me neither, but it's definitely hundreds, several hundreds of new items. And what about the inventory? Can we say that it kept up with this change? Of course not. It's still pretty much the same and very limiting. For example, in creative mode, where creativity is the main focus, you can only have 9 slots in the main inventory bar. Just imagine how much time is wasted because of that. Building giant, truly megalomaniac structures takes a lot of time, and the current inventory doesn't help. In survival mode, the problem is actually worse. Even when organizing items in the inventory, the very limited number we can carry, combined with the fact that we constantly pick up things by accident, requires much more management skill than I personally have. And I'm sure you've also gone mining and come back with your inventory full of andesite, diorite, things you weren't even going to use. But super Leo's out. What are the solutions? The community has already made plugins and mods that solve this problem. For example, one of the most promising ideas is to add a shortcut key that allows you to navigate between the 4 horizontal rows of the inventory. That way, it would be like having 4 groups of 9 main slots to switch between, rather than manually replacing each item in the inventory. This would save a lot of time when building, since you could set up standard sequences of up to 9 items before you even start. Another great idea is to enhance shulker boxes. Picture collecting sand, dirt, or seeds. Instead of going straight into your inventory, these items could be automatically sent to a customized shulker box. In other words, you put this shulker box 2.0 in your inventory, and now all the sand, dirt, and seeds go into it first. And if that space ran out, then the items would start filling up your regular inventory. This would prevent, for example, the problem of picking up things by accident, and it would be amazing if shulker boxes had an auto refill option. Imagine you're using a lot of sand and suddenly you run out. It would be great if the shulker box itself automatically refilled the blocks in your hand. That would be ideal for experienced players who have played for years. Yes, it's still a great way to avoid returning to base just to gather more resources. And of course, last but not least, we can't forget to mention the most obvious idea, simply expanding the inventory. What if the problem is aesthetics, or ending up with something massive like Corinthians? You can keep the standard 27 slots by simply adding left and right navigation arrows. It would be like having a kind of page 2 for the inventory. Of course, this would mean that not all items would be visible, but it's a sacrifice that, in my opinion, is worth it, especially because of the convenience it would bring.